We Let's talk issues of the day with Russell Brown, of course, over at publicaddress.net, the Hard News blog, and the Media 7 show on TVNZ7. Morning, Russell.
Good morning.
Good morning, and I've got a feeling that you're feeling quite excited at the moment with all the energy around Auckland.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know what it's like around your neighbourhood, but I never realised there were so many Tongans.
Yeah, exactly. I drove past Western Springs yesterday, and there was flags waving everywhere, cars. People were just getting really excited.
Yeah, and particularly the Tongans. They're those red and white flags. To say that Tongans are representing in Auckland at the moment would be an understatement.
Yeah.
And that's fabulous, right from the welcome at the airport, which actually made news in Europe. I've just been looking at a couple of European sports stories that's their angle.
Of course, we shouldn't forget that we are the biggest Pacific Island city in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually an element of the Rugby World Cup I'm quite excited about. The only game I'm going to actually is Fiji versus Samoa at Eden Park.
Oh, great. And they'll have the
day game on a Sunday, and I think it will be awesome.
That'll be a noisy crowd.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be the same event anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
I think I may have said before, I've gotten a little bit tired of people being Grinches about the Rugby World Cup, and in a way you've got to say, look, just let the many and varied peoples of Auckland in particular enjoy this thing.
Yeah. Because I'm probably one of those Grinches, but I always knew that I would probably feel the vibe of the carnival, the atmosphere of people being excited.
I think that's a really key point.
Yeah.
I've been saying for a while, I'm looking forward to the party, and it's actually a fascinating time for Auckland because Auckland has more games than anywhere else, and because it actually needs a lot more work to be ready for those games. A lot of things have happened in quite a short time here. Everything from Queen's Wharf opening this week to last week, the new Auckland Art Gallery opening.
Yeah, it's all on, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There's a whole lot happening, and you've got infrastructure upgrades, and there's been the odd whoopsie. That K Road overbridge that no one likes.
Yeah. Now there's been a development since we spoke last time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had the story that brought the news from stuff quoted me extensively, so I'm probably not friends with a couple of people anymore. But they're taking down the ridiculous steel screens. Because the brief for that design project that the architects got was to enhance the views from the bridge, and they did the exact opposite.
I was on that bridge on Friday evening, and it was a grim place. Now, I'm not sure whether it was grim because of that screening that was up, or the police booze road stop in the middle of the bridge. But there was a lot of activity, but it was eerily quiet.
Right.
And I don't remember the last time you drove through one of those booze stops, but man, they are quiet places, eh?
Yeah.
and seeing people sitting inside those trucks. Oh man, that's sadness right there.
Everyone's pretty bummed out.
Yeah,
but there's something. I just think it's a terrible piece of design that what they've done with the overbridge.
Yeah,
the bus shelters don't shelter people. It looks sort of incoherent, and it just doesn't work.
No.
So at least they're going to fix the screens.
But you have been down to Queen's Wharf and got a first-hand look at what's going on there.
Yeah, and I mean, Queen's Wharf is interesting because it was a schmozzle for so long. Right from when John Key jumped up and used the phrase Party Central, which did not go down well with pretty much everyone else involved, including Martin Sneddon, who was rather injudicious with our Media 7 researcher, Sarah Daniel, and made his thoughts known on the Party Central idea. I spoke to someone at DB who thought the same. No one thought it was at all helpful. The government hadn't run it past anyone. They didn't really want to make it look like a booze up.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you had all the to and fro about what would happen on Queen's Wharf, who was going to pay for it. At one point, you had John Banks pretty much ordering Aucklanders to ignore Queen's Wharf if it went ahead, which was a ridiculous thing to say. But it's kind of worked now.
Now, you're talking about the cloud?
The cloud looks weird from outside, but it looks gorgeous inside.
I got a view from the Hilton side looking over the cloud last night, and it looks really nice lit up.
It does, yeah, and just think forward to some of those late night club shows that are there.
Yeah,
Pitch Black are playing there.
yeah, that'd
be really good.
Yeah,
Nick D's DJing. September 16th, I think it is, Friday. Shafu playing at the big stage on Queen's Wharf, followed by the turnaround at the Cloud.
Yeah,
that's a pretty funky evening.
It is. It's cool.
Yeah, so it is. I think there's going to be a lot of fun to be had, actually.
Okay, but what about the actual facilities themselves? I mean, did it feel like a booze barn?
Yeah, Shed 10 feels like a booze barn,
right?
But a reasonably well managed one, hopefully. I think the management of all this is going to be quite crucial, and I hope they've got that together.
Because it's all very well having those cool events like the turnaround and stuff, but I mean, if it's full of munters...
Yeah, exactly. Well, the way it seems to be splitting up is that the munters go to Shed 10, frankly.
Okay.
And it looks like you could call it a booze barn or you could call it a giant public bar. And it's reasonably well designed. There's places to sit. Yeah, it's not awful, but it is a wee bit of a shock when you first walk in, because there were maybe 500 people there already when we visited, and you think, oh wow, I don't know whether this will be the best place to hang out.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will like it, and there are dozens of screens, large and small. So.
Okay. Well, it was interesting also wandering around town last night, from the central city and all out to Great North Road, a heavy police presence around, and I was thinking, oh, maybe it's the build-up to the Rugby World Cup, but of course no, it's because of the Pacific Islands Forum. There were police just sort of hanging out in doorways, pretty random places, cars parked everywhere, and I was thinking, oh gosh, I hope it's not like this for the whole Rugby World Cup. They just felt like this sort of atmosphere of tension.
Ooh, that could be a bummer, couldn't it? I suppose we've got Ban Ki-moon in town,
exactly.
So,
that's probably what it was for.
Yeah, but I would guess there will be a police presence a greater police presence for the duration.
Yeah, no doubt.
You just have to get used to it.
And I guess
it is odd, isn't it? Because they're there in their visibility vests or whatever, and you kind of feel like you've done something wrong.
Yeah, I know. You just got to. I don't know. It's just it is just an atmosphere because I don't know what I mean. It just makes it feel like. I mean, obviously it makes it feel safe, but also it makes it feel like, oh, perhaps it's unsafe. Something's going to go down,
Yeah. Talking
about things that are unsafe or perhaps safe now, the Urewera few, or what were they called, the 12?
It was the 18.
18.
For a while.
Well, some charges have been dropped, and 4 of them are still up for... they're going to be in court, at least, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, my view remains that there were... Way back when this started, there were things going on that warranted the attention of the police, but boy, have they blown this. I think they were in trouble from the moment that the Solicitor General, David Collins, declined to authorise charges under the Terrorism Suppression Act. And what that meant was, because the police had gotten all their warrants under that act, they had a whole lot of evidence, intercept evidence, that they couldn't use. They convinced the High Court and the Court of Appeal that they could use at least some of that, and now the Supreme Court has said, no, you can't. But the way that the police had done it had left them with these piddling charges under the Arms Act, which were highly technical. There were going to be very technical arguments behind these, and possibly it was a long shot anyway. But the 4 who remain also face charges of participating in an organised criminal group. And my guess is that maybe they can use a bit more of that evidence here. I think it has been frustrating for the public because people don't know what's gone on. And the police, I think, just got all caught up in the whole terrorism thing and thought, wow, we can have our own terrorism conviction, and that I think clearly was not the way to proceed. Yeah, and they're left looking like idiots, frankly.
Yeah, and I guess the sad part of all this was that people on the periphery, very much out on the periphery, were all caught up in it, even if they were just involved in some sort of activism group, for climate change or whatever it be, were indeed caught up on the day at gunpoint.
I think so, and I think that was also a consequence of the police, once they realised they didn't quite have enough, spreading the net further and further, doing a mega grope, trying to find something that would nail it for them. And the consequence of that was that a lot of people who were either not involved in anything distasteful or were only peripherally involved got caught up in it. And it's been a sorry episode from beginning to end, frankly.
Indeed. And what are you covering on Media 7 this week?
Really interesting Media 7 show this week. We have Nicky Hager talking about his book, Other People's Wars, along with David Beatson and John Stevenson, who have both, of course, covered the Afghanistan war issues and what we have and haven't been told. And yesterday afternoon we confirmed former Admiral Sir Bruce Ferguson, the former head of the New Zealand Defence Force, who's named frequently through the book, and will be responding to what's said about him in the book. And I, for one, am really looking forward to seeing what he's going to say.
Indeed, tomorrow evening just after 9 on TVZ7.
Yep.
Thanks very much, Russell.
Cheers.
Russell Brown at publicaddress.net, Media 7 show.